They tried to humiliate you. Here's how you make them regret it. Machiavelli's power strategy. Humiliation. It doesn't just sting, it stays. It replays in your mind long after the moment ends. The laughter fades, the room clears out, but the echo? That stays with you. You keep thinking, I should have said something. I should have done something. But what if I told you? That moment where they laughed at you, where you felt small, that wasn't the end of your power. It was the beginning of it. See, most people think humiliation means defeat. The Machiavellian knows it's a trap, a test, a setup for something bigger, a reversal. Because when someone tries to humiliate you in public, they're not just insulting you, they're trying to reframe you. They want to shape how others see you before you can respond. That's why it hurts so much. Because it feels like control slipping from your hands. But here's the truth. You don't fight humiliation with anger. You don't beg for understanding. You don't explain yourself. You shift the frame. You flip the power. You stay cold, calm, and unreadable, and let silence work for you. This is how Machiavelli would handle it. Not emotionally, but strategically. Because the goal isn't to get even. It's to make them question if they ever had power over you at all. Let's break it down. 1. Why humiliation works. Humiliation works because it catches you off guard. It's fast, public, and it's designed to control how others see you before you even react. When someone humiliates you, they steal the spotlight. They lower your status. They test your reaction. It's a performance, and you were never meant to look good in it. If you overreact, they win. If you shrink, they win. If you explain, they still win. But Machiavelli's mindset is different. He knew that the real audience isn't the attacker, it's the crowd. That's who you're performing for. And in moments like these, silence is louder than any argument. You don't respond to the insult. You respond to the room. And you do it without raising your voice. Hold eye contact. Stay still. Let a cold smirk rise, like you know something they don't. That alone breaks the energy. Because now, the crowd starts to question the attacker. Why isn't he reacting? Why does he look calm? What's he planning? And just like that, the frame begins to shift. 2. Flip the frame. Now it's time to speak. Not to defend yourself, but to flip the focus. Let's say someone mocks your past or points out a failure in front of others. You don't deny it, you don't react. Instead, you drop one sentence that cuts through the noise. Feeling how badly you needed to say that. That's a lot of effort for so little impact. What did you just do? You exposed their need to humiliate you, not your weakness. You made them the insecure one, the desperate one, the one who needed a crowd to feel tall. This is what Machiavelli mastered. Redirection. Don't fight fire with fire. Fight it with calm, cold frame control. Because when the crowd sees that the insult says more about them than about you, they stop laughing and start watching. That's the power of psychological reversal. You don't block the attack. You turn it into a mirror. 3. Own the flaw before they can use it again. Let's say the insult they throw at you is actually true. You did mess up. You did fail. Maybe you do have a flaw they pointed out. So what do? Most people panic. They try to deny it. They laugh nervously. They try to explain it away, fast, emotional, defensive. And that's the trap. Because the moment you defend the flaw, you make it feel bigger than it is. You confirm to everyone watching that it hurts you. But here's the Machiavellian move. You own the flaw before they can weaponize it again. That doesn't mean you crumble. It means you control the narrative. You say something like, "Yeah, that happened, still here though. They've tried that before, still standing." Sure, I failed, and somehow you're still talking about me. What happens next is powerful. You take the sting out of the insult. You turn shame into strength, because now it's your story, not theirs. People respect honesty, not the kind that begs for pity, but the kind that radiates control. When you admit something without shame, it stops being a weakness. It becomes proof of how far you've come. They wanted to embarrass you, but you showed no fear, no hiding, no excuse. And that destroys their momentum. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be unshaken. Because people don't follow perfection, they follow presence. And when you say, yeah, that's true, and you show the world you're not hiding behind a mask. You're showing your scars, not as wounds, but as warnings. That's Machiavellian. You don't erase your mistakes. You polish them until they shine. Let them bring up your flaws. Just make sure the next time they do, they realize something. It doesn't hurt you anymore. It makes you more dangerous. And now, they have nothing left to use against you. 4. Make them the joke without saying much. Some insults aren't spontaneous. They're rehearsed, practiced, planned ahead of time, just waiting for the perfect moment to land in public. This isn't just an insult. It's a performance. They want attention, they want to look clever, they want to humiliate you for social points. But here's the truth. When someone prepares to humiliate you, they've already made a mistake. They're thinking about you too much. And that's something you can use. The Machiavellian doesn't respond with emotion. He responds with exposure. Here's how you flip the moment. Let them say what they've been waiting to say. Let them get the laugh. Then, pause. Hold eye contact. Let the silence stretch. And deliver one sentence. Calm, surgical, and chilling. That one sounded rehearsed. You've been saving it, huh? You didn't insult them. You didn't defend yourself. You did something far more powerful. You exposed their obsession with you. Now suddenly the crowd isn't laughing. They're confused. You're uncomfortable. Because what you just did is flip the joke, without even being funny. You made it clear that they've been thinking about you, planning, preparing, and that's not confidence, that's weakness. People don't respect someone who rehearses their insults. They respect someone who doesn't even flinch. And right now, that's you. This is the core of psychological reversal. You don't resist the attack. You let it land and then show the crowd how insecure it made them look. They wanted you to be the joke. But now the spotlight is on their obsession, their desperation, their effort to bring you down. You stayed still. You stayed sharp. And now, they're not laughing anymore. They're explaining. And once someone starts explaining, they've already lost. 5. When they ignore you, the silent power play. Not every humiliation is loud. Sometimes, the attack is silent. They ignore you in a group. Chalk over you. Make eye contact with everyone, except you. And you feel it. That sting of invisibility. It's subtle, but brutal. This is what we call non-verbal humiliation. And the average person makes it worse by chasing validation. They laugh louder, speak faster, try harder to be noticed. They lean in, smile more, try to earn attention back. But Machiavelli would shake his head at that. Here's the truth. If someone is trying to exclude you, it's because they feel threatened by your presence. They want to control the social energy by ignoring you. And the second you chase that attention, you confirm their power. So what's the cold strategic move? You do the opposite. Step 1, disengage completely. Not with anger, with indifference. Don't try to force your way back into their world. Look away, relax, take a sip of your drink, check your phone. Let them feel your withdrawal. Step 2, shift your energy elsewhere. Turn to someone else in the room. Start a new conversation, ask a question. You're not avoiding, you're redirecting your value. Step 3, Build gravity in a new space. Give your energy to someone who welcomes it. Make that interaction meaningful and let it grow. Soon, others start to notice. Your presence becomes stronger somewhere else. And the people who ignored you, they start to feel it. The spotlight they tried to take just moved away from them. Because here's Machiavelli's truth. Attention is power. And when you stop giving yours to people who try to diminish you, you bankrupt their control. You didn't argue. You didn't beg. You simply stopped participating in their little game. And that, right there, is what makes them start noticing you again. Only this time, from below. 6. Let them dig their own grave. Sometimes, the smartest move is no move at all. When someone tries to humiliate you, your instinct might be to strike back, to clap back, to match their energy. But here's what you need to understand. They want your reaction. That's the bait. So what happens when you give them nothing? They get uncomfortable. And when someone's desperate for attention, discomfort turns into overperformance. They keep talking. They keep pushing. They try harder and harder to get a rise out of you. But you just sit back, calm, still, unreadable. Let the silence stretch. Let the room watch them spiral. Because here's the truth. People who constantly try to humiliate others are addicted to control. When they lose that control, when their jokes don't land, when their digs fall flat, they panic, and in that panic they expose themselves. They say too much. Their clever joke becomes a rant. Their attack turns awkward. The room shifts from laughing to cringing. That's when you speak. One sentence. Nothing emotional. Just enough to flip the mirror. You seem really committed to this performance. You've been carrying that one around for a while, huh? Boom. No yelling. No defense. Just calm observation and a tone that cuts deeper than any insult could. Now the crowd isn't laughing at you. They're watching the attacker unravel. And the beauty? You didn't fight them. You let them beat themselves. That's Machiavellian power. Let the fool perform. Let the mask fall on its own. And when it does, you speak, went on, just to seal the damage. This isn't silence from weakness. It's silence as strategy. Let them dig. Then bury the moment with one cold sentence. 7. The final power move. Refuse the frame. Humiliation isn't just about making you feel small. It's about framing you in front of others as weak, awkward, emotional, or irrelevant. And if you accept that frame, even silently, it sticks. Every future interaction starts from that image. That's why the real power play isn't just about handling the insult. It's about refusing the role they tried to assign you. Here's how you do it. When someone throws a public jab, a mocking tone, a sarcastic comment, a quick shot meant to lower your status, don't match their speed. Slow down. Pause longer than they expect. Let the moment become uncomfortable. Take a sip. Raise an eyebrow. Hold your posture. Say nothing. Let the silence grow. Now, everyone is watching you, not as a victim, but as a mystery. Then, when it's time, you say something subtle but sharp. That's one way to look at it. Interesting, you felt the need to say that out loud. If that made you feel taller, keep going. These aren't comebacks. They're frame reversals. You didn't fight back. You pulled the curtain back on why they felt the need to attack in the first place. You made them look insecure without even raising your voice. Because that's the Machiavellian truth. It's not about being right. It's about staying in control of meaning. People don't remember facts. They remember energy, presence, composure. They remember who looked untouchable. That's why your calm silence is more powerful than the attacker's loud insult. You didn't defend your ego. You refused the script, And in doing that, you rewrote the moment entirely, not just for them, for everyone watching. This is how you stop humiliation from shaping you and start using it to elevate you instead. The goal isn't to fight for your image. The goal is to be so composed they can't touch it. 8. The crowd only remembers control. Here's something no one tells you. The crowd doesn't remember what was said. They remember who looked like they were in control. It's not about who was technically right. It's not about the sharpest insult or the funniest comeback. It's about energy. When someone tries to humiliate you, all eyes turn to see one thing: who's in charge of the moment. If you get flustered, defend yourself, or overreact, you look like you're trying to win back control you already lost. But if you stay calm, slow, emotionally flat, you make the attacker look desperate. Because here's the key: real power doesn't rush, it doesn't scramble, it doesn't explain. And hold still. It breathes slower. It speaks less. So when someone hits you with a sharp line like, "Didn't you mess that up last time too?" most people panic, explain themselves, laugh nervously, or go silent in shame. But the Machiavellian response flips the spotlight. You've been holding on to that for a while, haven't you? It's not a punch. It's a mirror. You make them, not you, look emotional. You highlight their obsession, their effort, their need to try and bring you down. And once the crowd sees that, it's over. Because now they're watching them unravel, not you. This is the art of social warfare. It's not about the insult. It's about who directs the energy in the room. When you speak last, speak slow and speak with control. Your words carry weight. Your presence feels larger, and your silence becomes louder than their voice. So remember, you don't need to crush them with facts. You just need to stay still and let the room see who's really in control. 9. Turn their attack into a confession. There's one tactic Machiavelli would use that's absolutely brutal, and most people never even see it coming. Make their insult sound like a confession. When someone mocks you in public, they usually reveal more about themselves than they think. But most people don't know how to expose it. They defend, they deflect, they try to stay cool, but inside, they're scrambling. You do something different. You let the insult land, and then you flip the energy with one calm sentence. Let's say someone says, "You're trying way too hard, chill out." Instead of denying it or explaining yourself, you respond with, "That's interesting. Sounds like you've felt that before." Or, "You said that like it came from experience." You didn't fight back. You just turned their insult into a psychological mirror. Now the crowd isn't looking at you, they're looking at them, wondering, wait, was that projection? And projection is the key here. Most public humiliators are speaking from their own fears, their own insecurities, their own battles. They just try to hide it by aiming at you. But when you reflect it back, calmly, without anger, you force them to carry the weight of what they just said. They start explaining. They start getting defensive. They start looking emotional. And once someone starts explaining, they lose the power. This tactic is silent, elegant, and lethal. You're not insulting them. You're just pulling back the curtain. And once the mask slips, the audience sees them for what they are. Not strong, not funny, just exposed. This is how you stop playing defense and start turning every attack into a window into their own mind. That's psychological warfare at its cleanest. And they'll think twice before trying it again. 10. When you refuse to play their game, you win it. 350 words. Most people think the only way to win is to fight back, to say something clever, to clap back louder, to defend your name. But the Machiavellian knows the truth. You win by refusing to play their game at all. Because humiliation isn't just about what someone says. It's about the frame they want to trap you in. They want you to react. They want you emotional. They want you to try to fix how others see you. But here's the power move. Let them frame the moment, then burn the script. You don't argue. You don't explain. You don't try to impress the audience. You just sit in it, calm, silent, watching. And the more silent you are, the more uncomfortable they get. Because now you've flipped it. They wanted to control the moment, but now they're the ones trying too hard. You say one sentence, just one, and it lands harder than any argument. You're really hoping this works, aren't you? You rehearsed that, and still. This is all you've got. Suddenly, you're not the one being judged, they are. Because when you stay cold, when you hold your frame, when you stop trying to prove anything, you take away their power. That's what terrifies them. They expected to humiliate you. Instead, they revealed themselves. Their desperation, their obsession, their insecurity. And you walked away untouched. That's the Machiavellian win. You didn't react to the moment, you redefined it. You didn't just survive their attack, you made it collapse on them. Because when someone tries to play power games with you in front of others, they're not testing your strength. They're showing you theirs, and it's weak. So you stay still. You stay surgical. And when it's all over, they don't remember what was said. They remember that you didn't flinch. And that silence will haunt them longer than any insult ever could. Final reflection. You were never the target. You were the test. Let's be clear about something. Humiliation is never just about the words. It's about control, framing, manipulation. It's about someone trying to shape the way others see you, right in front of you. But here's what most never realize. You were never the real target. You were the test. A test of presence, of emotional control, of whether you'd break character or hold your ground. And when you stay calm, when you don't chase validation, don't defend, don't flinch, you turn the game upside down. You don't just win the moment. You control how the moment is remembered. Because people don't follow the loudest person. They follow the most composed, the one who radiates something stronger than confidence, certainty. That's why silence is so terrifying. It holds weight, it builds tension. It forces everyone to look inward, including the attacker. And when you finally speak, one line, clear and cold, you don't just respond. You redefine reality. You show everyone watching. This isn't a person who gets humiliated. This is someone who cannot be shaken because they've already conquered their need to be understood. That's where real power begins. Not in dominance, not in revenge, but in detachment, in control, in the refusal to play the emotional game. Machiavelli didn't teach people how to avoid being attacked. He taught them how to use attacks to reveal weakness, not their own, but the enemy's. So next time someone tries to humiliate you, don't react like prey. Stand still, let the silence stretch, and let them destroy themselves, while you rise higher without lifting a finger. Because you were never the joke. You were the mirror, and they couldn't handle what they saw.